What have been the key takeaways from the election?
I think no one really expected this to happen. I, for one, didn't expect to win quite resoundingly in Lembah Pantai, but I think the people have spoken, the Rakyat has made a decision. Now the expectation is very, very high, not only in terms of what we will do in Putrajaya, but also how we will properly reform the country. I think people will be watching not only the announcement of the cabinet members, but also I think the expectation is that we will completely reform all the way down to the grassroots level. A lot of things that people have been experiencing all these past 20 over years.
Now, this could be a new age of politics. You joined PKR in the early days of Reformasi, but how hard of a bitter pill was it to swallow with Mahathir on board?
I think for me, initially it was a little bit difficult, but after a while I realized that as a reformist, for me it's more important to see someone try to fix things, and I believe that Mahathir is trying to fix things, and the fact that he could bring together all party leaders from the different parties in Pakatan Harapan to make sure that we have a very good shot at Putrajaya, and he delivered. I think we all delivered. In fact, I think it was more than anybody else, it was the Malaysian people, the Malaysian electorate that delivered the vote.
So the next chapter is going to see Mahathir and Anwar coming together. Anwar is to be released on Tuesday, so go the reports. What is this meeting the meeting of these titans going to mean?
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see, because they have met already, actually, day before yesterday. And the meeting went very well. It was some discussion about cabinet posts, about certain ministers, but also the message from Datuk Sri Anwar to Dr. Mahathir was that this is your show. You're the Prime Minister, and you know, we will support you fully. That was in his official statement from Datuk Sri Anwar. I think to see Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Dr. Mahathir, Datuk Sri Anwar freed and side by side with Dr. Mahathir, I think that's going to be a bit of a time warp for a lot of people. The last time this happened was almost exactly 20 years ago. And it's going to be a bit of a time warp. But at the same time, I think Malaysians are buoyed with hope. So it's still, for a lot of Malaysians, still quite shocking. But we're slowly coming to terms with this.
This could be a fragile hope, though, because we did see Anwar, of course, as you say, come out with that support in a statement, but that came on the back of Rafizi Ramli and Wong Chen, perhaps setting a little bit of a flame, a fire here when it comes to potential infighting within the party, at least the murmurings thereof. Are there concerns that the stability for the alliance may be under pressure?
I don't think the alliance is under any pressure in terms of stability. I think it's quite stable. I think now it's just a matter of ensuring that the proper process of consultation is met, and that certain preconditions, I think, is set. What's most important, I think, is to show the support for the leadership, to show support for Dr. Mahathir. I think Dr. Sri Anwar's statement sets it out extremely clearly. That's explicitly clear that we will support the leadership of Dr. Mahathir. And I think what's very important is we have to strengthen the government, we have to strengthen the hope of the people to make sure that we fulfill a lot of the promises, especially the 10 promises that we've announced for the first 100 days of being in power.
With these promises, as you say, comes great expectation. With the challenges ahead, the next 100 days, the pledges that you've made may also come under pressure given some of the political machinations, the leapfrogging we're seeing. Do you see a challenge from that? I
think there's some soundings from former leaders of Barisan Nasional. For example, Tan Sri Rais Yatim came out to say, be careful of becoming BN 2.0. I think there are a lot of members of the electorate who have either personally messaged me or have spoken out on social media to say be wary of these people who want to become frogs, political frogs, and jump into what they see to be the government. We might see this happening at state level, some of the states, but I think at the federal level it's quite clear that we have a very clear majority and we can support the government as it is. I'm not sure whether we need more support than currently is. I think what's most important actually is to make sure that the promises that we've made are fulfilled.
Now, what is the role of UMNO now as the opposition in this?
I think it's very important that UMNO understands its role historically how we saw ourselves as the opposition. It's very important to have a very strong and robust opposition to make sure that we have checks and balances in Parliament, in government. And I wish them all the very best. I think they will need to execute or they need to do their party elections very, very soon, within the next 1 month. In fact, I think this is quite belated, and I wish them the very best. Please be a good opposition to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow.